All right, hope you guys found that very interesting. So next we have transforming service at Renault Trucks using hands-free remote support. So to my right, we have Sanjay Jhawar, who's the co-founder and chief strategy officer for RealWear. To my right as well is Dan Flynn, and Dan is the VP of North America Sales with over 20 years of experience. Pass it to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a problem. 80% of the global workforce doesn't sit behind a desk to do their job. And so we, I think, traditionally have not thought of those folks with technology. But clearly with the events of COVID and other factors, this has become front and center. This has been part of our mission at Librestream, is to service these individuals in doing their jobs. And the workforce shortage, obviously, you know, is very real, and it's accelerating if you believe the headlines. And experientially, I think we're seeing that inside of companies and you know, losing that knowledge share. And then, you know, recruiting's become a different thing because individuals that used to work for these companies for long periods of time with deep understanding of the business and the things they do for that business are leaving and retiring, and then the new folks coming in do not have those same aspirations to spend their career at one organization. Go ahead.
So what we're here to talk about today is a really interesting and representative industrial case study, and this relates to Renault Trucks. So Renault is a large European-based vehicle manufacturer. The trucks part of the business is actually a subsidiary of Volvo, and they make these big rigs. And you can imagine that you know, the downtime of one of these vehicles is very impactful for the commercial customer that's using it to run their business, haul their materials. A little bit about Renault. They have 350,000 of these trucks in service worldwide, 1,700 service centers in 100 countries, full range of commercial vehicles from a 3-ton truck to a 120-ton truck. So really a large global business with important needs for field service with a significant downtime. And I guess you've already been introduced to us, but here's who we are. Dan and I have worked together for many years. Librestream and RealWear have been partnered closely since the early days of AWE, all the way back in 2017. So we'll be delighted to be here and show some of the real benefits that have been achieved by real customers over that time.
Okay, so quick snapshot on Librestream. We're a remote expert platform, so you see what I see type technology. We also have in our platform work instruction and procedure, the ability to capture that information, and then we make some specialized accessories that are for highly specific industrial use cases. And within the last year, what we think has been elegant, has introduced some advanced capabilities like AI, computer vision. Really, really hard to do that because you want to time the technology availability with the safety and just the overall usability of it. So we spent a lot of time thinking about how to do that for our customers. Very large footprint. We're deployed in 120 countries. We work across all different types of devices and wearables. So kind of a proven technology. We've been in business for about 18 years.
RealWear, we're the global leader of industrial strength assisted reality for the modern industrial worker. And assisted reality is all about industrial use that maximizes safety, which is why you'll see some of the characteristics of the device that I'm wearing and that Renault is using. Monocular 20-degree field of view does not consume your entire field of view because safety is important. There may be industrial equipment, high voltage electrics, robot arms, other things that you must maintain your situational awareness on. In this presentation, we'll talk a little more about what that is and why it's a good fit for the frontline worker in particular. We've been founded in 2016. We have about 125 employees. Analysts have really called us the gold standard for industrial use. And in 2019, we won an Augie Award. So, and I'm wearing the AWE t-shirt from a couple of years ago, for those of you who have been here for a while. So great to be here.
And you're also wearing the HMT right now.
And we're in the HMT, yes, as you can clearly see.
Okay, so for Renault, these were their core digital transformation objectives. For the owners, it was asset uptime. For the dealerships whom they work with, it was worker productivity and customer service gains. I would also add to that, you know, that with Renault Trucks, their productivity and safety, like with a lot of organizations, is top of mind, and emissions controls is cost savings. So they are serious about reducing emissions, even if that means just in the service side of their business to reduce miles and waste in that area of their business.
So when our two teams got together with Renault, and a lot of this work was actually done by Librestream, and the way that we have successfully built solutions for hundreds of customers since Librestream and RealWear first partnered all the way back in late 2016, early 2017, we really start with understanding the business needs. And in the case of Renault, this is really about the return on investment of faster servicing, more accurate servicing, fix it first time, less downtime for that truck where it's not being used by the customer. Renault identified that it was very important to be hands-free because they're inside an engine or they're inside the electronics of the truck, needing to use tools, needing to use both hands. It had to be easy to deploy and scale because we had so many service centers, so many countries, so many different languages. Security was important too. It was centered on collaboration, which is live video streaming, but there's more to collaboration than just streaming. There's markup and annotation, and there's sharing of documents. Not all of those service centers are in the greatest network coverage. They mostly have Wi-Fi. Some of them don't have great Wi-Fi. Some were reliant on cellular. In some cases, that cellular coverage is not that strong. So it was really important that the video streaming would work in low bandwidth. And finally, it had to be comfortable for the end users to use, so they would actually want to wear the device, use it all day long, and feel safe while wearing it, not feel compromised in any way. So these were really the key things that came from the customer to us.
So the solution they developed is called Optiview. It's powered by Librestream. And so this is a picture of a technician using it to identify some issues with a device with remote expert support. So that's a live session right there, screen capture.
And then, the key features here are remote expert software from Librestream, which streams video from this camera live to a remote expert, works in under 64 kilobits of bandwidth, which is still a viable video stream. Of course, gets better the more bandwidth you have. And the device itself, completely voice-driven. So even in those loud environments when the truck engine is on, and you're in there trying to troubleshoot something or measure something with a strobe, and trying to use voice commands in that environment works flawlessly. 95 decibels of ambient noise, you can still drive the device in any of 17 languages very reliably and comfortable to use all day long, and battery life that goes with
And one
that.
thing I'll add to that is, Librestream has done a very deep integration with the HMT. This device does a lot. You can optimize it a lot of different ways. There's lots of integration points, and that's one thing that Renault really liked about it was the deep partnership we had with RealWear in making sure we took advantage of all the functionality of the device.
And that goes to camera, it goes to manageability, it goes to network performance, it goes to usability, and all of those things. And 5 years into the, or 4 years into the partnership, it's pretty mature. So here's a quote from Andrew Walker, who's the warranty manager for Renault Trucks nationally. I think he's in the US. He's in the UK, I believe.
Yes.
There's his quote. The experience did what it's intended to do without any effort. Provided them with very positive results, and has given the service technicians the ability to more easily sort out complex issues. And so it really has been a success across all of the different service centers that it's been deployed to.
And this is really the feedback that you want from the end users, that the technology is not in the way. It elegantly works. It helps them solve a problem. That's sometimes a difficult thing with end users, to make sure that you get it right and you get that result, because you can deploy these technologies and sort of mandate them across your organization, or you can get that pull from the end user doing their job, validating that you're actually helping them perform a task.
I think what we've seen time and again across many customers, Renault is no exception, is that the path to a successful business outcome runs right through change management. So assuming your technology works, ours does, it's all about picking your champions, training your users, making sure they have a good experience, having a high touch, having a great customer success function, collaborating well. Deployments don't succeed by accident. They exceed in industry, frankly, with a fairly high touch. But when they do succeed and you have that buy-in from the end user and you resolve the IT issues and you resolve any concerns and you deploy the right accessories, then you get something that really works and it really makes a business outcome, and then it can scale. And so we've learned this many times over, and I think by the time we got to Renault, starting in 2019, we pretty much had it down, so it went pretty smoothly.
So here's the use cases and benefits. They wanted to do inter-dealership support, vehicle diagnostic with tech support. There's training use cases. I mentioned that our platform does capture content. You can repurpose that very easily for the training side of your procedures. Warranty part inspection, we see this a lot with wanting to validate parts, claims, issues. Works in the vehicle rental, buyback inspections, inspection being a very popular use case in general. Product quality, as well as internal auditing and quality control. And so there you see some of the benefits on the other side. Uptime, worker productivity, faster warranty claims, higher customer satisfaction, safer with reduced emissions.
Each one of these key business processes, at an organization like Renault and many other field service organizations, there's a metric associated with it. It's the way that we've been able to succeed in deployments like this is really understanding those business metrics up front. So we'll go to a head of field service at some company like Renault, and we'll say, hey, what are your metrics? What are the fix it first time is a common one we see in field service, right? So how many times do I have to come back and have a second iteration of fixing the issue? One of my cars, has been in the shop 3 times for the same hybrid system fault. I won't mention the car manufacturer, but that's very common as we move to electric drivetrains, and the expertise in the vendor base or the servicing base at dealerships is not as high as it was on the traditional side. We see this repeated many times over. Understanding those metrics up front, really targeting the solution to prove out those metrics, showing in the pilot that you can actually influence those metrics. It's not about kicking the tires on the technology. Everyone's done that mostly a few times over. It's about, can you really achieve those business results? Once you can prove it at 2, 3, 4 dealerships, it's ready to scale. And then what I like to say is, once you've proved it in the pilot and you prove that you meet your metrics, every day that you're not deploying that, you're actually losing money. And so it becomes a very easy business case to make once you have tied it from the very beginning to metrics. So my advice for anyone considering a deployment like this is, before you even get into the technology, is really understand what business metrics you're trying to achieve and work from there. And time and again, that has been the key to rollouts. No exception in Renault, and you see a number of sub-metrics here. It wasn't just remote assistance. It's really all of those different sub-metrics, whether it's improved training, because you've captured an expert doing the procedure, you can repurpose that video for training now, or whether it's reducing your risk on a buyback because you know what you're getting because you've seen it ahead of time. If anyone who's bought a used car knows exactly what we're talking about. Just bought one for my 16-year-old daughter. So you go through and you look at all the paint and you look at the tire treads, and the truck is even more, as you can imagine. So many individualized metrics that we're able to influence.
Some of the challenges and lessons learned, and I would say these are broad-based things, somewhat with Renault, but some of the stuff we've been solving for years. So we insist upon a lot of interaction with the end users, formal training. We provide those resources to our customers. We provide it to Renault. We think that's a difference maker, not just for Renault, but in a lot of customer situations. Training is important. Making sure that the licensing is set up, just the ease of use, getting the license, getting it set up. That's an important part that can't be overlooked. And then definitely taking a look holistically at the business process to say, are we capturing everything we need to do here in order to roll this program out? All the dependencies, all the cascading effects. We want to spend time with customers in advance to understand their business goals, and then some of the lessons that we've learned working with customers, some of the things that we can point out to look out for. And then transparent analysis of costs and benefits. Proof of concepts are still a thing. And we want to make sure that we go into those situations when it's necessary with the right metrics and outcomes, participation from the customer, expectations around support, communication, conversations. Those are all really key things to make sure these projects are successful.
Absolutely. So here's what we like to call the money slide. What benefits did they actually achieve? 5-fold reduction of in-person warranty part inspections. So is this fault in warranty? Before we send out, a part for free, because it's in warranty, you want to inspect that part. And so 5-fold reduction of having to send a person to make that determination, and of course all the time that takes. Many of these assistance cases, truck arrives in the shop, can take 24, 36, 72 hours to identify the issue and diagnose a complex fault. In many cases, those have been turned into 30 minutes or 1 hour. I mean, you're talking about a 20x, 25x reduction in service time, and the corresponding productivity benefits for the field service workforce, service more trucks per day, and of course, the customer satisfaction impact and the indirect impact on the customer's business. I can't run my business and deliver on my supply chain commitments because my truck's in the shop for 3 days, and my truck's in the shop for 3 hours. And that impact on the customer's customer, our customer's customer, Renault's customer, is huge also. Do you want to cover the other two?
Sure, so 24 hours, we see a lot of time savings here. It's obvious, right? If you're doing things remotely and you have a procedure to identify a situation and do that using a remote expert, you're taking a lot of time out of your business time and frustration. So we think that's a really important point, is that's just the time savings here. Renault, again, I mentioned they're very keen on greenhouse emissions and identifying areas and measuring where they can reduce. So saving 15% mile reduction was one of the stats that they really were pleased with.
Right. Okay, so I think wrapping up here, instant solution out of the box, pre-integrated. We're not building new software for the customer on the customer's dime. It can be customized, it can be configured, it can be adjusted, but essentially this is a turnkey solution. Very easy knowledge sharing across dealerships between technical support headquarters and an individual dealership. Works well in their actual environment, a workshop with so-so connectivity and a lot of noise where it's grimy, where there's grease, where there's oil. Really a scalable problem, not just for Renault, but for commercial vehicles in general and passenger cars increasingly. The big application of this is electrification of passenger cars, where the dealer service network really isn't familiar with servicing electric drivetrains. That's going to be a massive training need and an assistance need across the world. And then really proving effective with those metrics. Know what the metrics are up front. As you go through the pilots, measure against them. As you go into the deployments, measure against them. When your champion presents to their boss, you have those at hands. Hey, we actually saved money doing this, and the users liked it. If you follow those steps, you have a successful deployment. It's taken us years to really nail the formula for successful deployments, but between Librestream and RealWear, I think we have a couple of hundred of these. This is just one. So I think we have a little bit of time, or maybe a few seconds for questions, but if there is time, maybe we can take 1 or 2 questions.
All right, any questions? Yeah.
How are you guys looking to scale back past this first proof of concept, such as building more training, building more, or are you integrating with cloud, et cetera, so you can scale beyond just a few dealerships to hundreds, if not thousands?
This isn't a proof of concept, by the way. I think there's 91 dealerships deployed. So it can scale because they have 1,500 dealerships, I believe, right?
Yes. And we deal, Librestream and both RealWear, we deal directly with Volvo, the parent company as well. So we have use cases deployed with Volvo directly. Something that we find is when you have a success like this, you'll use cases beget use cases. If you can prove this stuff in the dealer part of a customer, then you're naturally going to find yourself maybe at a more corporate level looking at other types of use cases. So I think that's one of the benefits of nailing this this type of use case in a dealership network, is that you get that notoriety with the corporate parent. And so we constantly find ourselves, getting introduced to other folks or working on more global use cases as a result.
It's a classic land and expand motion that goes on in enterprise deployments. So more use cases, more business units, different groups, and high customer touch is the key. It's not a kind of set and forget. Any other questions? Maybe got time for one more? One over here.
So when you deal with
There's a mic right there.
So when you deal with the diverse 91 dealers, what kind of experience did you have? Communication bandwidth, requirement, delays, latency, and so on?
I think that's something you can answer.
Yeah, I think that, low bandwidth it's really always a thing, because there's even when you have blanket coverage for a network, there's going to be, there's going to be issues inside of an engine compartment where you're not going to get a full signal. And that's one of the core tenets of our solution, is it has to work even in these edge cases. So, I think that's an important part of why Renault chose us. And then if you look at more of our global customer base, we do mostly global deployments with customers, so large global 2,000 companies working in every region, including China. We've worked through those issues for years and years. So we do have a lot of experience with global network challenges, localized network challenges, and then also just the enterprise controls that companies need to administer, a global remote expert solution in their business.
Yeah, very robust solution. Our software integration with Librestream began in 2017. The first demo that we did was on January the 31st, 2017. And it's matured and matured and matured and matured over all that time. So all of these problems were solved actually years ago. And so that's the benefit of a mature solution, a mature partnership, joint support collaboration that we have, joint sales collaboration we have. It really is a joined up experience. It's a solution. It's not like, hey, buy your hardware, go find your app by yourself. I hope it works, good luck. I mean, maybe it was like that, a long time ago, but at this point, these are really mature, combined, supported solutions.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? All right,
See
This will
one
be
over
the last
there.
one.
Last one.
So all the service centers that you have these deployed in, do all the technicians in those service centers wear these all day long, or do they only wear them as they come up upon a problem that they can't solve?
No, they're not going to be wearing the headset all day long, although the battery life would support that. It's really just for these specific use cases. There's a procedure to have the headset, use it, call the expert.
I mean, the design of this thing is it has this articulated arm for the display, and you wear it below your line of sight, so I can make eye contact with all of you, notwithstanding the bright lights, and not have the display block my unobstructed field of view, which is very important for interacting with your colleagues as well as being safe. But it's super easy just to fold it back like this. And now nothing is blocking my field of view, and it's not that heavy. And on this baseball hat, you can use a hard hat, baseball hat, headband, there's a variety of different mounting options. But now I've got nothing in my field of view. I mean, there's nothing blocking anything at all. And if I want to wear it all day long, I certainly can. And then when I'm ready to use it, it's as simple as this. Right? And now I'm ready. With a one voice command away. So we do have customers that wear them all day long. But I would think it's really the frequency of when you need to do those tasks. So if you're doing it, 3 or 4 times a day, you're probably not wearing it all day long. If you're doing it 3 or 4 times an hour, you might be wearing it all day long.
All right.
So if
for
you
your
weren't
question.
convinced before, I feel like this was probably one of the more data-driven presentations I've seen to see the ROI and actual tie to impact, which I think is just beautiful in our industry because I think for a long time that was lacking. And it's, well, not anyways, in certain areas. But anyways, Dan and Sanjay, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so we'll be taking a quick break. We'll be back at